All right, let's write our first JavaScript program. JavaScript how-to, and we're going to look at how to actually run some JavaScript commands. The first command we'll look at is this alert command. It you do the keyword alert and then parentheses, and then you put a string, a message inside it there, inside of single or double quotes, and then end with a semicolon, and that'll do a little pop-up window. And the way where we put our JavaScript commands is just inside of our HTML document, inside of a script element. Okay, that's called an internal script. We just do this script element here, and we can put our JavaScript commands right in there. So let's try to do that. So I'm going to go to my F drive, my CS10 folder. I'm now going to create a new folder in here. Let's just call it JS programming, whatever you want, JavaScript. And inside of there, we will create a new folder, and we'll call it Hello World. That's our traditional first program, Hello World. Okay, so let's get Visual Studio Code up and running. Sorry, opened up on my other screen. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to drag this folder into here. And let's actually put these things side by side here for a second. And I'm going to make my index.html. Beautiful. And I'm actually just going to copy and paste this. And I didn't include the head section just because I wanted to keep it shorter on the web page here. But anyway, usually we have a head and a body. But this is just the body. And I also forgot the HTML tag, which should be here as well. Dog type HTML, HTML body, and we can skip the head, that's fine. Okay, so let's save this. And now we'll run it in this browser here. Oh, my Go Live is missing. Sometimes that happens. If you go right-click, open with live server, we'll still use the live server. And ta-da! Hello world, it says. And then it runs the next command. This is awesome. And then that H1 shows up my JavaScript concept notes. If I hit refresh, same thing. Hello world. And then it'll run this command. This is awesome. Yay! And of course, you can add more commands. Alert. Used to do double. You can do double quotes as well, or single. Double quotes are actually easier to type. This is JavaScript. Semicolon. The semicolons aren't totally required, but it is considered a good practice. There are some cases where it could break your program, but anyway, at the end of the statement, it's a good idea to, it's like a period at the end of a sentence, and your semicolon. So now when I say this, hello world, this is awesome, this is JavaScript. Cool. Okay, now we usually don't run our JavaScript commands inside of our HTML document. Just like we kept our CSS in a separate file, I want to keep my JavaScript in a separate file. So that's what we'll do most of the time, is using an external script. All right, so we're going to create a separate file. Commonly I call it main.js. So main.js, JS for JavaScript, right? HTML for HTML, .css for CSS, and JS for JavaScript. And we're going to take these commands right here. I'm going to hit Control X to cut them, and I'm going to paste them into here. Now the tabbing went a little weird, so we should fix that. Or Shift Alt F you can still use as well. And in here I have this example, a / JavaScript file. This is a comment. The / means ignore this. It's not a command. It's not anything. It's just a little note for myself, so the browser won't try to run it. It'll just run these three commands. Okay, so we'll save that. Come on, save. And we'll save this. And now you'll notice it does nothing, right? And that's because my script tag is, my script element is empty, right? There's nothing inside of it. What we need to do in order to tell it to use this main.js is inside of the opening tag, we do just similar to an image, we do a source equals, and then we can tell it to find main.js. And that's basically telling it to say, hey, whatever is in main.js, put it inside of this element and run it, like JavaScript. And we're back. Okay, so now it's loaded, and away we go. So that's how we do JavaScript, right? It runs inside of the browser. We just embed it inside of our web page, usually using an external script where we'll write our JavaScript code in a separate file, and then we'll load it inside of our script tag with this source attribute. Okay, another thing I wanted to note here was the browser console, F12. So when I'm in the browser here and I hit F12, that opens up, well, there's lots of things, elements. You can see your elements, but the console is what I wanted to look at. Do I need this thing here? Well, yes, there we go. Okay, and in the console, I can actually type JavaScript commands right here. Alert, hello, right? And it'll run that JavaScript command. The console is also where error messages will show up. So for example, in my main.js, if I spelled alert wrong, and I said alert, hello world, angry red text, so nothing popped up. And in my console, uncaught reference error, alert is not defined. It's basically saying I have no idea what this is, right? It's an uncaught, it's a reference error. There's no such reference as our command as alert. So we fix that to alert and save it, and now the program runs fine, and there are no error messages. Okay, so I often keep my console open while I'm programming on the side, just so that if there are error messages that pop up, I can see them and deal with them. Okay. The other thing you can do is you can actually do, you can write to this console, just like we have an alert command to make a pop-up window. You can do console.log, right, which is basically console, I'm going to log a message into you, and then inside of these brackets here, we put the message. So hello console. So we save that, so it runs the first alert command. Right? Remember, this is an algorithm. First, a step-by-step sequence of instructions, right? So hello world, this is awesome, this is JavaScript, and then it'll log to the console, hello console. Okay, and later on when we learn about variables to store stuff, it's often useful to print out the value of the variable so you can say, hey, what's inside of there? But we'll show you that later on. Okay, that's JavaScript. We wrote our hello world program, two different ways, an internal script and external script, which is how we usually want to organize things and set it up. We learned about F12, or you can also hit inspect, which does the same thing. Sometimes it doesn't go straight to the console, so you have to select that. And that console is useful for error messages, and also we can write to the console as well. So maybe if you wanted to play around with writing your own little messages, your own little pop-up windows, and make sure you're able to run a JavaScript program. Okay, that's it for this video, JavaScript how-to. I hope that made sense. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.